What will it take for Auburn to win 10 games, and how do they get back to the Final Four? It's time for another Friendship Friday.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened, because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off, and you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie Five.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie Five, and we are ready to get after it. It's the best time of the week. It's Friendship Friday. It's like the 6th or 7th version, and we have an absolute banger today. My man, Jay Cross, has taken the reins and programmed the whole outline, and I cannot wait to rip through this. It's going to be a blast. We're going to talk, how does Auburn get to the playoffs? We're going to talk, how does Auburn get to the Final Four? We're going to talk, hey, what do we hate the most about Alabama? And then we got so much other stuff to talk about. I literally can't wait to get after it. But before we do that, before we jump in, we got to give a quick shout out to mybookie.ag. Use coupon code BARN, BARN, for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Give them $100. They're going to give you 50 back in free play to play with. Hey, that Auburn over-under win total has creeped up, I believe, to 8 now. So people are pounding the over. So if you want to get in on the action, they definitely will have something like that you can get involved with. So easy deposits, easy withdrawals. Take that free money and stack it to the chin and win big. It's mybookie.ag. My man, Jay Cross, Jamie, has joined us. And Jamie, no pressure, man, but every single one of these has been electric. And I don't have any doubt that you're going to bring it as well. Thanks for joining the show. I'm fired up for this.
My pleasure, man. It's great to meet you, and it's exciting to be on. I get to cross something off of my bucket list. It's just be on a podcast about Auburn.
Let's go.
That's pretty cool.
Go.
Yeah.
Well, you put together what I think is going to be just an awesome outline. So I'm going to literally just turn it over to you, and you start it off, and then we'll just fire it back and forth. I love what you've done, and I'm excited for this.
Cool, man. Me too. So conversationally, these are some of the kind of conversations we have as buddies. When I say we, I mean me and my pals, conversations, that games we play. So this first little tidbit is called "What Does It Take?" It's kind of a what if kind of thing. So I want to kind of put you on the spot, man. Definitely, you're the expert. I want to pick your brain on this. Interested to hear what your feedback is. So number one, Auburn wins 10 games and makes the college football playoff if.
That's a tough one right out of the gate. So I think, looking at the football schedule, just from a schedule perspective, okay, if Auburn wins one of the Iron Bowl or the Georgia game, and then Auburn wins one of the road games of Texas A&M and Oklahoma, I think they got a really good shot of winning 10 games. I think if you can win one of those two big games at home, and then all of the other ones should be winnable. I mean, I know Baylor's really kind of like a pick 'em, but you need to go handle business there. Then you got your two games that you should win at home. You go have two tough road games, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. You got to win one of those. And then somehow, if you can knock off one of Alabama and Georgia, I think that gives you a really good shot to win 10 games. And I think 10 games gets you in the playoff. There's that like a 5-game stretch in between Georgia and Alabama where I think Auburn's going to be favored in every single game, can go on a run, build a lot of momentum. I think that's what Auburn has to do to win 10 games.
Okay. How probable do you think that is? Just like in your heart of hearts, how likely do you think that possibility is?
Well, I like to book. Okay. And
you're known for it.
All I need is an excuse. But I would say 10 is probably the ceiling. So what is the likelihood that this team hits their ceiling? That's what that to me is the question that's going to be tough to answer, because to me it's all going to fall on how does this how does this offense gel? And can Jackson Arnold kind of shake the cobwebs from last year and live up to his potential? Right. So I would say, I don't want to say it's unlikely. I'm just going to say, hey, it's about as likely as it is for a team to hit their ceiling. And so leave no meat on the bone. I think Auburn gets to 10 wins. So okay. that I don't know how you work that into a probability.
No, that's good, man. Yeah. So my answer to that, Auburn wins 10 games and makes the college football playoff if coaching is better. I feel like we have the talent to compete with the very best in the nation. The question is, can coaching and development rise to the level of talent that we have now? So that's my answer.
I can't argue that. Hey, like I said, I've said before, if Jackson Arnold, if you see a lot of the same struggles that Jackson Arnold has, if you see some of the same struggles this year that you've seen over the past couple of years out of Jackson Arnold, I think you got to start asking some really tough questions. So I'm with you. I think coaching, yes, there's a talent gap issue, but there's also been, I feel like you've left a lot to be desired from a coaching aspect. Which one weighs heavier on the other, the chicken or the egg? Is it the talent that's creating the coaching, or is it the coaching creating the talent? It's hard to know. I think you'll get a lot of answers this year, though.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. All right. Well said. Moving on to number 2. You ready for this?
Let's hit it.
Auburn returns, shifting from football to basketball. Auburn returns to the Final Four next season if go Kyle Rush.
Well, number one, Tahad's got to come back. So
I agree. Totally agree. I put the same thing, man.
Yeah.
It's Tahad.
That's the most important. We were a little bit nervous after his first little scrimmage because he went off, but I think his second scrimmage, he kind of came back to earth. You hate to root for him to, struggle, so he'll come back.
Right.
I just want him to do the best he can, and then, we still got to have him. Got to have him because you didn't bring in another guard. I think Auburn gets back to the Final Four if they can go back to, if they can take this team and model it sort of after, not really the 2019 team, but maybe more so like that. Gosh, what was that? The year that COVID knocked us out, the Okoro team.
Oh yeah, the Okoro team. Yeah.
So you're gonna have your really good defense. You're not gonna have to rely heavily on the center, and you're gonna have some really good shooters. I think you got a lineup of dudes that can score. So I think if that, you're gonna look more so like a traditional Bruce Pearl team than feed it into Janai and let him score. So Tahad's got to come back, and these shooters got to shoot. So that's what I'm going with.
So I have a question. Do we know if Denver and Chaney are coming back yet? Have we gotten any news on that?
Yeah, we haven't gotten official news, but I think you can tell by the roster already. You already got 10 scholarships accounted for, and you're looking to add another one, another big man. I guess in theory that could be 12 and 13, but I don't think there's any chance. The rulings that have passed, those guys don't really fit those rulings anyway. So I just don't. I would love to have them back, but no, there's no. I don't think there's any chance those guys come back, unfortunately.
Well, that sucks. So I mean, that's
if that was the case, I would go ahead and book my tickets.
I was really hoping. I was hoping they'd make it back, man. Tahad kicks off my list too. If Tahad comes back, our chances increase exponentially. Sure. The new additions, Magwood, Walker, Keyshawn Hall, William Adams, the JUCO guy, Bashir. We can't miss like we did with JP Pegues. Like I've been thinking a lot about, God, just JP would have hit with that team last year. If we could have had another piece that we didn't miss on, what would that have done for us?
Oh man, that's a really good point. That in this scenario, it would be Keyshawn Hall. That Keyshawn Hall has to be the guy, because I think that's what they're counting on, him to be the alpha, along with Tahad. But that's going to be the guy that when it's late in the shot clock, you're getting it to him to create something. And I think you got to have him hit.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think that we get back to the Final Four, just to put a cap on it. If Tahad comes back, number one, we both agree on that. And then we can't miss on if we can get a couple of these transfers, new recruits in that can hit. Yeah. I think we've got the personnel. You don't lose Janai Broom and get better. So that's you got to play reality.
Different. You got to just be different. You got to adapt. And I think the way you adapt is with these guards and with these, you got to score with 1 through 4 or 1 through 3. And then your centers are going to be your cleanup crew, your defense, your rebounds, your putbacks, your pick and roll. You're not going to kick it into any one of these guys. And they're going to, back somebody down from the 3-point line or just inside the 3-point line like Janai. I don't see a lot of ISO stuff out of those guys. So, but I'm with you. You got a shot. You just got to have a couple things hit.
Yep. All right, man. Number next. You ready?
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze is not at Auburn in 2 years. If.
Okay, so in 2 years, does that mean after he completes the next 2 seasons, he won't be here anymore? Or is that what you're saying? Like, so he's getting more seasons.
Yeah. Okay. 2 years from now. Yeah.
Okay. So Hugh is not here to kick off the 2027 season. I'm going to say I think it all revolves around how things play out with Jackson Arnold. I really do. I think that was your big portal get at quarterback in a year where you're still continuing to sell vision. You haven't really produced results yet. We're selling on vision. We're selling the future. Because if Jackson doesn't hit, I think you may start losing some receivers. I think you may start seeing some guys say, okay, look, I've been here. I've been patient. We say this is going to happen, and it doesn't happen. But I don't think Hugh necessarily would get released after this season. I think it would be after the next season if that were to happen. Again, I'll preface this by saying I don't expect this to happen. I expect him to be here 2 years from now. But I would think the whole Jackson Arnold thing was a disaster, and you're completely back to the drawing board after this season. You probably lose some guys. Recruiting gets a lot tougher, but you're going to get one more season, but it's going to be even tougher because we don't really know what's going to happen with the schedule yet. We don't know if they're going to vote in that 9th game or if they're going to keep it status quo. And if they keep it status quo, the schedule flips, and we're going to pick up Florida, LSU, Texas, Ole Miss. We're going to pick up those 4 teams right there. And then you're still going to play Georgia and Alabama. Okay, so that's going to be 6 of your 8 conference games. Holy cow.
That's brutal. Yeah.
That's brutal. So
that's terrible.
So you'll go into year 4 with that one, and it's going to be tough.
I answered that question. Those are good thoughts, man. I answered that question with it's just more of a broader stroke. If we have not shown significant progress as a program on the field, resulting in at least 9 to 10 wins by the year after next. So I think if we can pull off 9 wins this year, then whatever hot seat you want to ascribe to Hugh cools significantly. I don't personally think that there's a tremendous hot seat. I think the national media brings that narrative, but I think that there's a sense of, I don't know that he's on the hot seat right now.
Hot seat to me means like if you don't make a run, like if you've expended all options, and like it's to the point where like if you don't make a run for a championship, you're out of here. You know what I mean? And I just don't know that we're there yet. I think you just, like you said, you just need to see improvement. So I'm with you there.
So if you follow that, a 9-year, like my original thought is if you have 9 wins this year, and then if you can follow that up with a 10-win season and a college football appearance, then at that point we're where we wanted to be and expected to be. Yep. I'll say this too. I don't think that Hugh survives a 7-win season.
This
personally.
Season?
I think if we get 7 wins, I think with the fan base, I think with the resources, I think that there's a real chance he gets axed.
I totally see where you're coming from, but I think he's going to get 4 years no matter what. I think that's.
I hope you're right.
I think
I would not
they're
be for that.
Now, I don't know that if it does end up 7 and it's an ugly 7, which if it's 7, that means you lost some games you weren't supposed to lose.
Right.
Then it's going to make that year 4 really tough, kind of like I just described. But I still think he's going to get. I think he's going to get 4 years no matter what. And I think every coach should probably get 4 years unless it's a complete.
I totally agree.
Unless it's a complete utter disaster like Harsin. So
right.
Otherwise,
I'm going to ask you about that later. I'm going to ask you about your Harsin take, man.
I'm ready.
Yeah. All right. Last one, man. You ready for this?
Yes.
Auburn gets back to national relevance in football by
the end of the season.
Okay. That's simple enough. Yeah.
By mid-October. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I think by mid-October that Auburn will be in the conversation for. I think they'll be in the I'm not saying they're going to make the playoff because there's still some stuff that's got to happen, but I think Auburn will be in the conversation for the playoff, and then you just got to.
Colin, I'm feeling that bug, man. I'm feeling it like drip over to me.
Heck yeah, man! You got to. It's Friday.
That's right. I love your answer, man. Mine is it kind of goes hand in hand. It's by beating Georgia or Alabama, because in doing so, they'll accomplish something they haven't done since 2017 and 2019, respectively. If Auburn wins one of those games, it'll signal several things. It'll signal that talent level's equal. Coaching has put us in a situation where we can be successful and win. And most importantly, in my opinion, we move farther away from that mentality that I think we all felt in 24, which was, how will we lose this week? It will demonstrate a distance from that. Oh, yeah. And so I think that's that. Yeah, man.
I love it.
So section 1's done. Well done.
That was dope. I really enjoyed that. Hit me with section 2.
You ready for it?
Yes, I'm ready.
So this little game we do, hot take, agree or disagree. Okay. So the idea is we will make a statement and we will both answer 10 seconds to explain why we agree or disagree with the statement.
Okay. Got it.
All right. You ready for it?
Yep.
All right. Number 1, Auburn will have a top 5 recruiting class within the next 2 years. Agree or disagree?
I say agree, and the reason is because I think they would have had the number 1 class in the country this past offseason had they just won 8 games. I think the pathway was there. I think the pathway was there, and had you won eight games, you wouldn't have had to pay the suck tax to keep the class together, and I think they would have had it this year. So, and I think they're going to be successful this year, and it's going to make recruiting that much easier. So I'm going to say yes on that.
That's a good answer. I'm going to zag a little bit, man. I'm going to say disagree, but I'm not firm, and I don't think it really matters. Freeze just said in an interview that there's not a real difference, and I think this is spot on. There's not a real difference between the top 2 class and the top 7 class, that those 2 through 7 just kind of fluctuate the same, his words. So I kind of lean into that, and I think that I disagree, but I mean, I think it could easily, I'm not firm, man. I think it could easily drift into a top 5, but if it's 7 or maybe even 6, it's still going to be just a balling class.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, man. Here we go. Number 2, the expansive playoff hurts the Iron Bowl's national impact. Agree or disagree?
I agree, because I think the 4-team playoff already hurt it. I mean, just look at 2019 or was it 17? 2017, you won the Iron Bowl and Alabama still won the national championship, and nobody talks about the Iron Bowl. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's correct. That's the year they beat Georgia.
That's correct.
In the national championship. So I think the playoff in general already hurt the relevancy. So to make it a 16-team playoff or whatever it is, 12, sorry. And then they're already talking about going to 16.
All right.
I mean, I think all of it. Let me see if I can phrase this correctly. National relevancy means essentially like everybody's going to tune in to watch the Iron Bowl. And I think
nation's watching.
Yeah, I think that hurts all rivalry games. So yeah, I think
totally agree.
Definitely it affects the Iron Bowl.
I'm right there with you, man. I agree with that statement. The expanded playoff does hurt the Iron Bowl, just like it hurts everyone else. It feels like you read my notes, man. I don't think it hurts the local impact for us regionally. It doesn't hurt it. A national perspective with NIL, transfer portal, all the rivalry games matter much less unless those games feature teams with playoff potential.
Yep,
It's my thing. All right.
Unless they're playing for the playoff. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Number next. You ready?
Yep.
Freeze will not be Auburn's coach by year 4.
I don't agree. By year 4, that means he'd have to get fired after this season, and I don't see that.
Let's say at the end of year 4. At the end of year 4, Freeze will not be Auburn's coach.
Yeah,
agree or disagree?
I don't agree. I think that I'm going based off of this. Okay, the last 2 years cannot be. You have to look at the offense his whole career. Okay, you have to look at the whole body of work. So, in my mind, for it to be all of a sudden the offense doesn't work anymore, then maybe you got something there. But I just look at all the quarterbacks he's ever coached. They've all succeeded. All the offenses have put up incredible numbers. Last year, maybe he thought, hey, let's don't go big on a quarterback. Maybe I can just surround Peyton with all the tools that I can possibly get. And then when I roll into 2025 season, we're stacked. And all we got to have is somebody just be, a little bit average or better, not be, not throw the ball, to the other team so much, and we should be good.
Right.
So I say he's going to be the coach going into year 5.
Me too, man. I put disagree. I think and hope that he puts it all together and turns the ship. Yeah. And I think that that's going to happen. I do. I believe in Hugh.
He's confident.
He's confident.
Yeah. He hasn't been. I feel like he's really tried to tamper expectations the first 2 seasons, and that doesn't seem to be the case this season. So,
which excites me, man. Sure. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. This is a big one. I'm really interested to hear your take on this, if you agree or disagree.
Okay.
Deuce Knight is Auburn's starter by next year.
I don't agree. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I don't think that Jackson is going to have an NFL draft level season. Okay. I think he's going to be good. I just don't think he's going to be like 4,000 yards and I'm a pro prospect all of a sudden. Okay. He's got to shake off some of the cobwebs. I think people, especially NFL guys, are going to want to see more from him than just one season. So I say he's going to have a solid season and you're going to bring everybody back again. I don't know that you want to just pull the plug and start all over again. I think you may want to roll that in for one more season. I mean, I know everybody's fired up about Deuce, and I am too. But like, I just don't think you can just say we got to play Deuce year 2 just because we don't want to lose him when you got a really solid a quarterback that had a really solid year that's only in his second year playing, that's going to be going into his 3rd year. I think Jackson is going to be the quarterback for 2 years. So
wow.
The question is, can Deuce wait for 2 years to play his 3rd?
What do you think, man? What do you think about that?
I think he will, because, and I've said this before, I think so. He signed in December. Okay. Deuce signed in December. And then shortly after that, Auburn signed Jackson. Okay. So before, there was a period of time, a very decent sized period of time in between when Jackson signed and Deuce enrolled, that if he was not at least somewhat on board, he could have gone elsewhere. He could have left. And everybody knows Jackson is probably going to be a 2-year guy. Walker White left because Jackson was a 2-year guy. He said it verbatim. Hank Brown left because Jackson was a 2-year guy. There's really not a good pathway for those guys to get on the field. Deuce saw that and had weeks to change his mind. He could have gone to Notre Dame. They would have taken him in a heartbeat. He could have gone to Ole Miss. They would have taken him in a heartbeat. but he stayed. So in my mind, I feel like he at least knows there's a good chance that Jackson's going to play here 2 years. I could just be booging, but I think he hangs around. If Auburn pays him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we can say that out loud now.
Yeah.
I agree, but I'm not sure he should be. So
okay.
I think there's a consensus thought that Deuce is the incumbent no matter what. That's the feel that I've gotten.
Okay.
You're more informed than I am. But what if then this is the question I put on this, and it's exactly what you just said. What if Jackson Arnold becomes an absolute stud this year? What if he's undeniable? What happens then? And you just perfectly laid it out, man. I like being in tune with you.
Yeah, that I think if he's undeniable, you can't not roll with him the second year unless no, there is no unless. You can't roll with you can't do an Arch Manning. Like we can't do that. There's no way Quinn Ewers should have come back to Texas and played another year.
Yeah.
They basically booted him. I just don't think you can do that.
Yeah. And I don't think that fits who we are as a culture and as the Auburn family. I don't think that is consistent with who Auburn is.
I agree 100%.
All right, man. Section 3. You ready for this?
Let's hit section 3.
This is my favorite section. All right.
I like the name.
Because yes. But I will preface this by saying I am one of those fans that hates Alabama. Now, when I say I hate them, I don't wish ill will toward the people themselves as human beings. I do. I'm sure about this. I've had to search my soul to find some way to make sense of what goes on inside of me when I see them succeed. I say it like this, man. If Alabama was to play the University of Satan.
The University of Satan?
Satan.
Wow. Okay.
I would be completely neutral.
There you go.
Look, man, I'm not saying them with Genghis Khan flea flickered back to Hitler and hit Judas to go in for 6 that I would cheer. Yeah. Because I wouldn't. But Kyle, I wouldn't boo.
No, you say, well, you know what? I ain't mad. I ain't mad. I'm
just here. So this is a section called the Alabama Hate Draft. Okay. So you and I are going to participate in 3 categories. We'll do like a couple of rounds. 2, I guess 3 is a good number. And so you and I will snake back and forth. And the first category is the most hateable Bama player / coach. Because you are the host, because you are the Charlie 5, you will Mavericks this thing up and get the first round draft pick. So you can pick from a player or a coach.
Current
and we go 3 rounds. Either.
Okay. All right. So my number 1 pick for most hateable Alabama player is TJ Yeldon.
Oh.
I don't despise. I don't typically let things bother me that much. Okay. But that one bothered me. And I'm still not over that one. That was he made that one personal. So I that's the only one I rooted for failure. I did even beyond college. So that's my number 1 pick.
Well, he did fail. Like he really stunk it up in the pros. You can get a TJ Yeldon card for like a piece, like an eraser head.
They pay you for it. They pay you.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
They really do. They throw it in as a freebie.
That's my number 1 pick.
I'm glad you left this one on the board, man. My number 1 pick is Nick Saban. I mean, and
I love Nick Saban now.
He's what? No way, man. I can't. No.
Here's my thing with Saban. Like it became to the point where he broke my will to hate. He broke my will to hate him. So I was just like, he was Thanos. It was inevitable. So it's like, why do I even waste my energy? I'm gonna focus it on something else. I was like, I kind of just got over it. Now I respect him, and I think he's kind of funny.
He's an angry elf, man. I mean, like I just watched him throw those tantrums on the sideline, just angry and hit people and scream. I'm like, man, this guy, he's my number 1. And I will always sports hate Saban. So number 2, back to you, buddy.
Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart.
He was on my board.
Kirby Smart is my number 2 pick, and it's because he's so fake, in my opinion. Everybody fawns over this like halftime speech that was like secretly recorded, and he just essentially like memorized all the current lingo and just put the F word in front of it.
Yeah.
And then he would instead of just recruiting kids, he would like set up the whole lead Auburn on and then flip at the last minute kind of thing. So Auburn wouldn't recruit. TJ Yeldon was a big part of that. I don't like Kirby Smart at all. I've never liked him. And I just not a big fan.
Man, he was on my board as my number 3 pick. So he's off my board now. Good choice. Right. Definitely sports hate, Kirby Smart. I guess I'll bump up I'll have to rearrange on the third one. My second one, in keeping with the coach theme, is Bear Bryant. I have no reverence. They're houndstooth. They're
it wasn't
alcoholic.
It was Plaid.
Yeah, Plaid. That's right, man.
He never went this Plaid.
I mean, that's a good man. You must have a lot of Alabama fans in your life to teach you those things. I do too. I just learned not to talk to them about sport. It was really funny. One time I was at a fire, it was a quick story. I was at a fire pit, and some friends were gathered around, and I forgot that I had an Auburn hoodie on, and I just threw something warm on. I walked up to the guy, and this fellow started talking to me, and he goes, "So you're an Auburn fan?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I am," not remembering that I had my Auburn shirt on. And I said, "How'd you know that?" And he kind of snickered and looked at my shirt, and I was like, "Oh," and I was like realizing that I had worn my Auburn shirt. I was like, I thought it was because I enunciate. So,
Zing.
I know. No Bama fans were there, but Bear Bryant, he's my number 2. And look, it's respectful. Saban and Bear Bryant are 2 of the greatest coaches of all time, and they just happen to lead the team that I loathe to success. And that's why sports hate them. Number 1, number 2, my top 2 draft picks.
Oh, my number 3 pick. I've been struggling with this one because I don't know if it's so much. He's actually more of a. I'm going to tie him to Alabama, but he's actually a former Auburn player, and he kind of played this game with his son. And that was Allen Evans / the father of Rashawn Evans. So I'm actually going to draft Allen Evans as my number 3.
Wow.
I think he held a grudge because he came in the same recruiting class as Bo Jackson, and he was Mr. Football, and Bo Jackson beat him out, and he had to go end up playing at Troy or something like that. And I think he held a grudge, and he pretty much said that that's the reason Rashawn ended up going to Alabama, even though they lived here in Auburn. So that's going to be my number 3 pick.
Good choice, man. That's some insight right there. That's something I did not know. Number 3 for me is Reuben Foster.
Oh, see, I
could not.
You just didn't like Reuben. I understand.
No, man. I mean, he tattooed Auburn. You talk about the ultimate lead on, the ultimate tease. He had an Auburn tattoo. I was convinced to the end. I was like, he tattooed Auburn onto his body. He's coming. And then in the ultimate swerve, he chooses Alabama.
But we got rid of his boy. We got rid of Trooper. If you remember that was one of the things. We got rid of Trooper, and then the whole Reese Dismukes fiasco at Sky Bar kind of put it over the edge. But I'm with you. I see it. I get it.
He's my TJ Yeldon, man. Okay,
there you go.
Next one. Most obnoxious. This is a draft. Again, Alabama hate draft.
Okay.
Same format. Most obnoxious fan moment or tradition. So this category is either a tradition that Alabama fans, Alabama team, Alabama football enacts. It can be, Rammer Jammer or some of the other things. Fan moment. Obviously, there's some biggies on the fan moments there.
Yeah.
So you get first draft, man. Host choice, number 1 draft pick of most obnoxious fan moment or tradition.
I don't know if I got 3 of these, but I know I got 1. Okay. And no matter what event it is, if it's some type of Auburn event and you bring an Alabama friend to it, for whatever reason, they're going to wear a jersey. They're going to wear an Alabama jersey. I don't know why it is a thing. There's going to be somebody at an Auburn basketball game, an Auburn baseball game, an Auburn football game. They're going to bring an Alabama friend, and he's going to wear a jersey every single time.
They're such sponsors, aren't they?
Every single time. That's one. I don't know if I got any more, but I know I got that one.
You will. I feel like you're going to hear some of mine, and you're going to be like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
My number one draft pick, and it will be until the end of time.
Okay.
Is the claiming of the 18 national championships.
That's a good one. I
mean, 1941, you finished 20th and lose to Vanderbilt. You're champs. In 1965, you lost to Texas. You finished 9-1-1, while Michigan State finished 10-1, and Arkansas finished 10-1, and you're the champs. And probably my least favorite is the 78 team that claims the championship over USC, and USC beats Alabama in Birmingham and finished the season 12-1, and Bama finished 11-1, and you're the national champs. I hate that so much.
There's a really funny sketch that Shane Gillis has about that game. I don't know if you've.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat it, but look that one up.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
It's really good. It's really good.
So that's my number. So do you have a second? Can you go two?
I don't know. There's nothing that's the only thing that legitimately bothers me. I can't. I'm really struggling for another draft pick on that one. As far as because they don't really have traditions. Like they'll be like, our tradition is win. Like, you know what I mean? They don't have they don't do anything after that like I don't like. I guess they don't really do anything. So I don't. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, my number two draft pick. I'll say this. I'll just pretend you drafted something. I'll give you my number two. Saying "Roll Tide" to everything.
Okay,
like that commercial.
That'll grind you. I get it. That'll grind your gears.
You know the ESPN commercial where
Roll Tide. Yeah. That was
it's
a great
so accurate. It's so accurate.
That was a fantastic commercial. Hit me with your number three.
All right. It's the number three would be the Crimson Crane kick. I mean, I hate that so much. The whole
that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Yeah. It was kind of fun when we kind of would take it from them, mostly basketball, and we would take it from them and do it back to them. And then like one girl, like female writer for Alabama or something like that. When we did that, they said we were mocking Mechie. We were mocking a kid with cancer.
Oh my God.
No, we're not saying, ha ha, Mechie, you have cancer. We're going to do your pose. We were just saying like, that was your Alabama thing. And we're doing it back, like mocking you back. That was the dumbest thing ever. But anyway,
I'm sorry, man. After they poison our trees, they forever lose the class argument. I don't want to hear it. I mean,
what a crazy. I remember where I was when I heard that live. I was driving.
Me too.
I was driving around Lake Martin, and that guy and Al called in. I was in Dadeville. I was in Dadeville when Al from Dadeville called. Now that I think about it.
Oh no, you were not.
And I heard it. And I was like, "What in the heck is that?" And then, sure enough, shortly after that, it started breaking.
Yeah, I always and just scoff whenever someone's like, "Well, you did show some class." I'm like, "Oh, like you guys did when you." Which no, it's not. So it's not representative. Whatever.
Poison the tree.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they loved Harvey too. By the way,
they totally did. They bought that guy drinks, got free tickets. They acted in public like they didn't love him.
Hey,
they loved it.
This is we're going huge digress, but there was a big prank on him, and it made it to the message boards where guys pretended to be Alabama fans, and they were going to tell him they were going to buy him tickets to the national championship game. And basically got him to where he was like, I think he actually went all the way out there. Like, and they showed the conversations between him. Like they got him to go all the way out there. And then they were like, we don't have tickets. War Eagle or something like that. And then they played one of the voicemails that he left. And then it was pretty vulgar. So anyway,
imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Okay. This is last part of this one. If you had to take one current Alabama player to Auburn, who would it be, and why would you hate yourself for it?
Let me go. I got to look at their roster. I know the easy people are going to say Ryan Williams, but I don't know that it becomes the law of diminishing returns at some point. I tell you who I would like. So like linebacker is somewhere where we're probably, maybe you got some question marks. So you could probably find a linebacker that maybe could fit like Deontay Lawson or somebody like that. But if I had to pick somebody, let's see, I'm going through their, oh man, I know who I want.
Who?
I would want what's his name? James. He's from Carver. James. What's his name? Smith. James Smith, the defensive tackle, interior defensive tackle.
Yeah,
he's a stud. I wouldn't hate myself for it though, because I thought we should have got him anyway.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. I would hate myself for this. It's Ryan Williams. You nailed it. You take the best, and when I'm drafting, man, and you take the best player on the board, regardless of need. Some teams draft for need. Some teams take the most talented one on the board. To me, that blazing speed. He's 160 pounds soaking wet, but I mean, who cares if you can't catch him? So,
I'm with you. I just think Auburn's wide receiver room so good. I just don't know how much more exponentially better you get by adding him. You know what I mean?
But could you imagine? Sense? Yeah, it does. But could you imagine like Cam, Singleton, and Williams, and then you douse in like somebody like a
Malcolm
Yeah,
Perry,
dude. I mean,
ratio. Like, oh my gosh, it'd be crazy.
That's the greatest show on turf. All right,
for sure.
Man, this is these are questions personal to you, brother.
Okay.
So
got it.
I as a listener and as a fan of the show, I have 3 burning questions, maybe 4 burning questions for the Charlie 5 Kyle Rush. You ready for this, man?
Let's do all 4. Let's do all 4.
All right. All 4. All right, here we go. You were early on the Bryan Harsin train, like jumping off of it. You were early jumping off of the Bryan Harsin train.
Yeah.
When did you start to understand that things were coming off the rails?
Okay. If you remember and you go back and you watch every appearance that I had on Locked on Auburn, I had not started the Top Button podcast. I was an ardent Bryan Harsin defender throughout the whole season. I was no matter what. People were, doing a lot of the things they were doing to Hugh now. Then I was hardcore defend Harsin. Then I met a guy, became a friend of mine, and he actually worked with the NIL the NIL collective at the time. It was not On to Victory. And I started to learn that Harsin had zero desire to function with NIL. He had zero fun, and the recruiting aspect of it was a complete disaster. Then we did nothing in that offseason, if you remember, in the portal, period, to make the roster better. And then it comes out that Harsin didn't go to like special recruiting events that like every Auburn head coach in like the history of Auburn football had gone to. Like there were just so many things that I'm okay. The record to me does not matter so much if you're doing the right things off the field. And Harsin literally did everything wrong off the field. There was nothing he did right off the field. Like it was a complete disaster. So I was with him. I rode with him through that first year. And then that offseason is when I some stuff was opened my eyes to what was going on. And that's whenever it was tough for me to be positive, because I was like, okay, he missed this event again. I didn't want to talk about it because people don't want to hear negative stuff for like show after show after show. But like he missed this event. Ryan Williams came to Auburn and as a freshman, and Harsin didn't even know his name, didn't even speak to him. like stuff like that. That's the kind of thing where it was just like I knew after that off season, that's when I was off.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And then when Penn State beat us unmercifully at home, I hate to say I actively rooted for us to lose every game after that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we got to get this guy out of here. I mean, unfortunately,
good, right?
You got to rip the Band-Aid off and go. When Missouri fumbled through the end zone in overtime, I could have broken everything in my house. I was like, I can't believe this he's going to get credit for this. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I get fired up.
No, man, it's I feel like you were ahead of the curve on that one.
Well, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. So I'll just leave it at that.
On that note, so here's a question. What's something Harsin actually did better than Freeze? Is there anything? Okay,
so I think I don't know if you could call this better, but I think Harsin handled criticism better. I don't think he let it show. I don't think you could – correct me if I'm wrong. Could you tell from his appearance, could you tell from his press conferences that he knew that Auburn wanted him gone, or he knew that it wasn't going to work out? I feel like he was very what's the word that they what's the right word? Stoic. He kind of held it together. He kind of didn't
like he didn't wear it, right?
There you go. He didn't wear it on his emotions on his sleeve. And that's that's not necessarily that doesn't always have to be a positive. I like Hugh being candid. I like Hugh answering questions just straight up. But sometimes I feel like, okay, let's just you don't have to say all that. Like you don't have to say everything that you're thinking. Like let's just kind of get through this and move on. That I think he just in adversity, he at least put on a persona that showed that it wasn't fazing him better than Hugh Freeze.
What do you remember the feeling inside that? Like you're an insider, you have contacts, you have friendships within the Auburn program. Like what was the feeling like inside the building with Harsin? Like what's the difference between like that and now?
Well, exactly what I mentioned a little bit earlier. I didn't really start making those connections until really that off season. And that's when people were saying like, I'm having to grab him by the hand and drag him to shake a recruit's hand or a recruit's father's hand, or I'm having to do this, or we're having to literally, he's not doing anything off the field. Oh, I'll give you a great example. Okay. What was the coordinator he hired that got fired or he left in like 5 minutes? Austin Davis. Austin Davis comes in after his first couple of days. It's not an evaluation period. You can't go talk to the recruits, but you can go like evaluate on campus. Like you can go talk to their principal, talk to their coaches and stuff like that. Austin comes in and says, hey man, let's make a little road trip. I want you to go introduce me to some coaches. You know, I want to get my name out there and start meeting some folks. And he said, there's no need to do that. They already know who I am. That was the mindset.
Wow.
That was the mindset. They know who I am.
Jeez.
So that's what we were dealing with.
So it's a head scratcher why he failed. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Last thing, man, this is something that I'm sure you get asked about this all the time, but I never heard your response to this. And so I have to know, I guess it was last year you were on Locked on Auburn, and
gosh, I think it was like 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years?
I think it was. It was the Georgia game. No, you know what? Maybe it was last year.
I think it was last year because I started listening. I was looking for Auburn podcasts and found Locked on Auburn. And,
no. It was 2 years ago because it was after the Georgia home game. We played Georgia at home.
Okay.
So it was 2 years ago. But keep going.
Man, maybe it was 2 years ago.
No.
You were part of one of the most infamous online, on-air Auburn debates. Yes. Yeah. I have to ask you, man, your honest take about the Jake Crane debate. and how it played out, any reaction afterward, and definitely feel free to skip if it's off limits. But I have been dying to know what that was like for you, man. What was your takeaway? Because it was rough as a listener, man. It was rough to listen to.
I'm sure. I heard so many people say that it was rough. Look, here's the deal. First off, I like Jake, and we talk occasionally. So after that show, he actually texted me immediately after that show and was like, dude, that was awesome, kind of thing. He goes, I didn't, nobody ever comes at me like that. Nobody ever takes a debate. And I was like, my whole thing with Jake, and again, I want to say I love Jake. Okay. Jake is really good at smelling a bad egg and not very good at laying a better egg, if that makes sense. Okay. So Jake, it bothered me that after that Georgia game, it was Auburn should have done this, and this. Or no, he said something like, this is what he said. Auburn made no adjustments after halftime for Brock Bowers. And somebody was like, well, what kind of adjustments should they have made? And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, it's just I see a problem and I can tell you there's a problem, but then I can't really explain to you how it should be fixed. So he mentions three things. And then I don't know if you remember this, but who was the defensive coordinator at the time? He was there for 1 year.
It was what
was his name?
2 years ago. Oh, it was the Vanderbilt coach, right? Wasn't the Vanderbilt coach?
What was it? Ron something, right?
Oh, the Georgia Tech guy.
I can't think of his name. Regardless, the defensive coordinator at the time, like, I don't know what you're talking about. We had, because I think it was bracketed. We had him bracketed like the whole night. So my response was, man, I was like, why do you say stuff like this to try to sound smart, and then you don't give any real good explanation as to how to fix the problem? And then that's whenever he was like, debate me. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So as God is my witness, I told Zach, I was like, this is exactly how this is going to go. Okay. He's going to turn this into a football spelling bee. So it's going to be like, what's this coverage? Where is this guy supposed to line up? Where is it? It's going to be a football spelling bee, but I'm going to hit him with a haymaker right off the bat, and it's going to go off the it's going to be completely off the rails. And Zach called me after the show and he goes, that literally went exactly how you said it was going to go. that is it. You said exactly. Now, I don't think there was a winner or a loser. I think the losers were the people that had to listen to it. But my whole thing was, look, if you're gonna do this, give us something a little bit more technical as to how to make things better versus just saying, you hear this all the time. Like, it's so easy to just throw out that something didn't work instead of giving a better explanation as to why it didn't work, and then giving a solution. I guess that was the big issue that I had, and that was the whole gist of it. And he just wanted to make it like I said, a football spelling bee. That's where the overfront thing became famous because he kept asking me what an overfront was. I still don't know what an overfront is, and I don't really care. I don't really care. So like, it wasn't about that whole conversation. The reason we exchanged on Twitter was not because I was saying he doesn't know what an overfront is. It was the dude, you keep smelling out the bad egg, but you never lay a better one. That was the whole gist of the conversation. And whenever he would try to veer it into a spelling bee, I would veer it back into lay a better egg, and it never really materialized, in my opinion. Man,
it's tough. It's tough for me to listen to something like that because a debate is not. It felt like, and I like Jay. I mean, I like. Yeah, what? Man, I went back and looked at Zach. Like, I watched the video, like, probably a year or something. I don't even know how long ago it was, but it was long after I went back, and I was like, I wonder what that was like. Zach, like, he was hanging on to a bull, just riding a bull.
People still talk about it. It was the worst list. I went back and listened, and I couldn't even hardly make it through. It was.
I just can't. I can't stand it when people are talking over other people. Like I can't stand it when like you would start to make a sentence and then there was just like a hijack of this and like a shouting down. I'm like, this is not a debate, man. It's disrespectful.
He did have the best line. He did have a great line in that when he said, he called me a casual and he said, it's casual Friday on a Thursday. And that was a great line. So I love Jake. I like Jake. And I'm proud of Jake and I like what he's doing.
For sure.
I think he's got a really good product and he does a good job. And I don't know that I would call him a friend, but I think after that we became at least acquaintances. So man. We talk so every so often, and I'm really proud of what he does, and I think he likes what we do too.
Yeah, for sure. Get him on the show. I'm sure he'll come. Maybe you can pitch the second round debate, and this time have a moderator that says, "Hey, like turns off his mic like they do on the presidential debates." Be like, "Hey, man, you can't shout him down anymore."
No, I'm going to start off and I'm going to be like, I have great news. I know what an overfront is. And I know. So I think you're
going to have to go back to the well. You're going to have to go back and get something different, man.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well,
Jamie, man,
dude.
what a great outline. This is the longest show I've done in quite a while. So it's going to be a great listen. I think a lot of fun stuff. I would love to hear some of you guys' answers to a lot of these questions in the comments. So let us know what you think. And we'll have some fun with it. I typically respond to pretty much every comment every comment. So get in there and have some fun. The live chat's going to love this. The live chat's going to love this. And you once again, the members of the barnauburn.com apparently need to all have their own podcast because every single one has been electric and this one is no different. So Jamie, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for jumping in. We'll definitely talk again soon. We'll have to do another one of these. I mean, it's off season. We're going to have to do another one of these. I love the hot takes. I love the different sections. A lot of fun. Guys, if you like the video, like it. If you like the channel, subscribe to it. Don't forget to go to mybookie.ag and take advantage of that 50% deposit bonus. We'll be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast, Friendship Friday edition, and it was a banger. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening. And drive home safely.